Om Shanti, and good evening, everyone.
Om Shanti. Good evening.
Good evening. Good evening, and warm welcome to each and every one of you for joining us for today's Monday's Insight session. We are truly grateful to have this opportunity to pause, reflect, and gather in the spirit of learning and inner growth. This evening, I am honored to welcome our guest speaker, Sister Sherry, a dedicated Raj Yoga student and an educator for over 30 years of experience. Sister Sherry brings with her a unique blend of spiritual wisdom and practical insight that has inspired many over the years in both the classroom and spiritual spaces. Tonight, she will be sharing on the powerful topic: your attitude determines your awareness. It's a timely reminder that our inner state, our mindset, and perspective shapes how we experience the world, ourselves, and others. Sister Sherry will guide us to reflect on how we can shift our awareness by first examining the attitudes we carry and how small internal changes can lead to powerful external transformation. So let us sit back, open our minds and hearts, and welcome Sister Sherry with deep appreciation and anticipation. All over to you, Sister Sherry.
Thank you very much, Sister Sharda. Thank you so much for that warm welcome and introduction.
You're welcome.
As usual, I'm happy, always happy to be here to share my experience and to also learn from you on the program as well. So, it cut both ways. I come here, I share, and based on the discussion, I also learn. Even in terms of researching this topic, you know, I would have learned myself. And you said something so pertinent, so important, that even though persons are aware of it, I don't think it's fully grasped. When you say that we have to make the changes inside. So it all starts with us. We have to make that internal change. And based on how we make that change, then our outer environment will reflect to us what we're experiencing inside. The world, they say, is like a mirror. So it reflects back to you. So this topic here is a topic that we will examine from a spiritual standpoint. So I hope everyone is hearing me clearly. I noticed somebody put in the chat they wanted the volume to turn up. I hope that person could hear me. The person that placed in the chat that they weren't hearing. So
I think it's loud and clear at my end, hopefully for others.
okay. Well, I will continue. I decided to do a PowerPoint presentation tonight. Okay, they're hearing Miss Singh. All right, she's hearing. Okay, so let me see to share the screen. I don't know why this ribbon is here anyway. Let me just make this up a notch. Okay. Can everyone see the screen?
Yes, I can see
Yes,
it.
yes.
Okay, thank you. So our topic for discussion is your attitude determines your awareness. And from time to time, in our own layman terms, we see somebody, especially with children, when they're behaving a certain way, when our children display certain attitude, we say, you get a bad attitude, you get a nasty attitude, all kind of terms we would say, right? You got to change your attitude and so on. So it's a term that we are so familiar with that we use on a regular basis, attitude. But as I said before, we'll examine it from a more higher level because sometimes our attitude is not always correct. And it is so subtle that sometimes our attitude is affecting how we experience life. Our attitude is affecting our happiness, our growth, our prosperity, our connection with the divine. And it's not about having a bad attitude or a good attitude. It's just that we don't have that positivity to the max within us to change our outcome. So the topic, your attitude determines your awareness, will help us to get more clarity on how we should be as human beings, how we should be as spiritual beings. And this is not a one-off something. This is not where, okay, we have this discussion tonight and that's it. It's something that has to be practiced and it has to be done regularly, if not daily. You have to get that mindset, that commitment to change your attitude. Especially if you see certain things are happening around you, if you see a lot of negativity, you're attracting negative people and situation, it's time for you to sit and reflect and think about, okay, what can I change about myself? Because as Sister Sharda said before, we have to make the inner changes step by step. So, so the topic, I'm wondering everybody is seeing the screen fully. I'll read what is there. So the topic is expanded here. How your mindset or the attitude you carry shapes what you notice and how you interpret the world. So this is the expanded explanation of the topic. Your attitude determines your awareness. So before we go any further, we need to understand what is awareness. We use the term on a regular basis, but what is awareness really? What is it? How can I recognize that I have this awareness within myself? So awareness here is the ability to consciously perceive, to see, to know, and understand what is happening within you and around you. So what is happening within me and what is happening around me. So awareness is the ability to consciously perceive and know and understand what is happening within you and around you. If you notice, we have this photo here. It's a kitten, very tiny, looking into the mirror. I guess that some of you might be familiar with this picture here because it is used a lot to demonstrate positivity. It is used in motivational talks, motivational quotes. And when you look at this image here, you see a kitten, but when he looks into the mirror, doesn't see himself as a little puny kitten. No, he sees himself as a king, as a lion. And sometimes when we look at our reflection in the mirror, sometimes we find faults. We see flaws. We do not see our true nature, which is the one who is entitled to wear the crown. And I'm not talking about a physical crown. I'm talking about the crown of spirituality, the crown of knowing who you are as a soul, as a divine being. And many times we restrict ourselves and we confine ourselves, not giving ourselves that chance to spread our wings and expand. Now, it's a little kitten, but he doesn't see himself as a puny kitten. He sees himself as a lion, the king. And because of that perception and awareness, the possibility exists that others will see this little kitten, I'm just using metaphorically, as a king, as somebody who know who he is and who is not afraid to show his true colors, his true nature. And it's not about ego and showing off or anything, but to show yourself as a true, loving, peaceful, kind, spiritual being who has love and empathy for persons around you. And for you to see yourself reflected like that, if you to see yourself like that, then you have to believe that you have it within you to be this person who could transform yourself and transform others. So whenever you look into the mirror, you must have that awareness that you are special, that you are loved, and everyone, including you, is loved by the Supreme Father, the Supreme Soul. There is no distinction where the love of God is more for others and less for you. If you don't have that awareness, then the possibility exists that you will have a low self-esteem. So your self-esteem would be lowered and you will not be able to expand your consciousness into things that is beautiful and meaningful. One of the things we need to recognize also is that our purpose here, if we think about it, is not really about materialism. It's about how we treat others, how we help to make others better, see the beauty within themselves as well. So we are on this journey, and I wish I had known this before. I didn't know this before, but I was more into the material world. You're trying to get this thing, get the other thing. You feel that, okay, if I get this new phone, everything will be okay. I get a new TV, new furniture. No. At the end of the day, that does not make you feel happy. But when you could help someone, when you could love someone unconditionally, irrespective of how they would have treated you, if you could be forgiven, that is what matters, because you don't carry that burden with you, the burden of unforgiveness, the burden of having dislike or even anxiety or hatred, or there's so many negativity. So when you look at this kitten, it just shows you this image speaks volume, that when we look in the mirror, let us don't see ourselves as anything small. Let us expand our awareness to know that we are divine. We are souls on a journey. So I'll go to the next slide. And based on my research, I noticed that they say here that there are types of awareness, which it never occurred to me before, that there can be different types of awareness. So you understand what is awareness. So let us look at the types of awareness. The first one is self-awareness. Now, what is self-awareness? Self-awareness is all about you being aware of yourself. Self-awareness is knowing your own thoughts, feelings, values, and emotions. Know when you are feeling stressed and choosing to take a break. So, self-awareness is all about you paying attention to your body, the physical body, and paying attention to your emotions and so on. So, if you are having certain experiences, like you're anxious, you're fearful about something, it means that you're not spiritually grounded, you're not spiritually connected to the divine, because it is the divine that gives us that sustenance. And I will always say that I have come a long way with Raj Yoga meditation, because it has really greatly, truly, deeply helped me to be more grounded, to be more steadfast. So self-awareness is to know when you're getting agitated, because it'll speak it up. Once you have that awareness, okay, maybe you might be raising your voice, maybe you might be, your expression would change. Sometimes a feeling come up of you, sometimes a welling up of anger or so on. Self-awareness is being aware. How am I feeling? What emotions am I experiencing? How is it affecting me? So you don't need to be at home in a quiet room to make those checks. You could check at any time, and that is self-awareness, right? So the next type of awareness is situational awareness, awareness of a certain situation. So situational awareness is understanding your environment and what is happening around you. For example, noticing a shift in someone's tone during a conversation. So you should have that awareness that if you're having a conversation with someone, based on how they're responding to you, if they're happy, if what you're saying is making an impact, if what you're saying is making them angry and you just pull back, and just step back and give them that space, so situational awareness is all about how we perceive what is happening around us. So it starts within, and then we notice what is happening outside of us with how we interact with people. How do you feel when you're stuck in traffic, you're a bit late? And so what do you notice? That is the time you could choose to just say some positive affirmation and don't let that outside situation affect you. So once you have that inner grounding, then you'll be able to use the tools that could help you to deal with whatever situation comes in a more positive and effective way. The next type of awareness is spiritual awareness. So spiritual awareness is recognizing the deeper meaning of life, your purpose, and your connections to a higher power or soul. So spiritual awareness is recognizing that, okay, am I connected? Am I close to God? Do I have this relationship with God? And you will know that during your quiet time, in this case here, in your meditation and so on, you will know how close you are. And you could reflect and do work to strengthen that connection with the divine supreme soul, because we are souls, but we also have a supreme soul, and we need to make that connection as much as possible, as I said before, daily. So we have awareness of the self, awareness of situations around us, and then we have spiritual awareness in terms of our divinity. All three awareness, all three types is very important in our growth, our development, our spiritual path. They're all important. So anyone has any question at this time or would like to share anything, whether in person or on Zoom? Okay, so the next topic is why awareness is important. Why should we always be in awareness? Why should we always be in awareness? First of all, it helps us to respond wisely. So if you don't have this positive attitude, a situation come up, a discussion with a colleague could turn into an argument to the extent where it could be blown totally out of proportion. As I said before in the example, you're speaking to someone, based on their tone, you recognize, okay, this person getting agitated. So you ease, right? And because of Raj Yoga meditation, it helps so much. It helps us to be in that awareness, at least for me, because of Raj Yoga meditation. You find that I'm not too quick to respond. I pause and I think before I say things. I pause and I think before I do things. Sometimes I'm quiet, sometimes I don't say anything at all. Because sometimes the response could trigger that other person, or they might misinterpret and think that, okay, you are trying to antagonize them, or maybe you don't have any empathy for them. There's so many things. So being in that awareness gives you power. It improves your relationship through empathy and understanding. Well, I just explained that. It improves relationship. So you would know. Like, for example, someone maybe they might be having a difficult day. It could be a family member, a friend, or a colleague. That is not the time to make certain jokes because it could come across as insensitive. Not everyone have that awareness, so sometimes we laugh or we make fun at other persons. Some of us, might say, right, it's just a light thing, but you don't know how that person is feeling within. So you're supposed to recognize when to speak, when to give support, when to step back, based on what is happening around you, what is happening in your relationship, whether it's family, colleagues, friends. You need to come to that understanding and make wise decision not to come across as unfeeling and as a person without empathy, so it strengthens our decision making. So when we are in this awareness, it makes us stronger in terms of the decision we make. We make decision from an informed standpoint, from strength, from 100%. 100% strength, 100% surety. So having awareness, being aware, it encourages all of that. And it increases inner peace and clarity, being awareness. So when we're talking about awareness, I know the emphasis is all about this particular word, being aware. But our topic is how our attitude determines our awareness. So I know that you might be asking yourself the question, okay, what attitude has to do with it? How come attitude ties in here? So the question is, what attitude has to do with awareness? How the two tie combine together? How is awareness dependent on attitude? How is attitude dependent on awareness? How the two coincide? Does anyone would like to share their thoughts on it? What attitude has to do with awareness? Anyone in person? What do you think your attitude has to do with awareness?
Om Shanti. You remember in the first part that you were sharing about our behavior and how we behave, how we act. If we are, because you remember the word, how do we react or respond? And it's according to the process of what is it that we are feeling. If I'm leaving home, I'll use the word with an attitude. I know that's going to make life miserable for everybody that's coming in contact with me. So, but if I have that self awareness, if I know who I am, if I know how I could respond, how I can behave, it's like you give the example of the child, because some of us can become that. We forget ourselves, and the little that someone says something, we get into this turmoil. And that's how I feel that attitude, that awareness is very important. You will know when to stay silent and when to respond. Om Shanti.
Thank you for sharing, Sister Yulin. That is so true. You were right on point there. And when you see the next slide, you will see that it speaks to what you're saying. Anyone else would like to share? Okay, so it's basically expressing two attitude. It's just about two things, positivity or negativity. If you have a positive attitude, you are more likely to notice opportunities, kindness, and beauty around you. If you have a negative or fearful attitude, you are more likely to become aware of problems, threats, or reasons to worry. So if you have a positive attitude, you will be in a positive awareness and you will notice positivity. But if you have a negative attitude, then you will be noticing negativity and you will be attracting those to yourself. So sometimes our colleagues, our family members, friends, they teach us lessons in life because we are seeing from day to day how a negative attitude could lead to disaster. It could lead to physical altercation. It could lead to so much conflict. This whole negativity, so, and there was one incident in the news. I mean, it's not a positive thing to share here, but I'm just giving an example where a simple road rage ended in murder because, okay, you're driving or you're on your bike, somebody cut you off. And right away, the individual, because he was cut off in traffic by a driver, he drive up alongside the driver and attack him. A scuffle started, and then next thing you know, that's it. The person who was attacked had a knife, and that's how it ended. Simple, simple, simple. So many times we could just walk away. You know, one person was saying, I could remember somebody was sharing on one of these programs that sometimes you just bless the person, send them good wishes, let them go. Okay, they cut you off, so what's wrong with that? You will still reach your destination. The other person will still reach your destination. So there's no need to react in this negative way. So likewise, if you are a positive person, then these little things will not affect you. You will be in that awareness where it doesn't matter what happened. Yes, you're going to shake a bit. Yes, you might rattle, but you will not fall. You will be able to bounce back. So I'm not saying that being positive, all is nice and well, and you live in this world like in a fairy tale world. No, you will still have cases where difficulties will surface, but how you deal with it depends on your attitude, whether you're a negative person or a positive person. So anyone would like to add to that? All right, so if no comment, I don't know how I have my Zoom set up. I'm trying to see, when I try to see persons, the video is, I'm not getting to see everybody how I should. Anyway, I'll have to make do with that, right? So anyone would like to share at this particular point? Would you like to add? Remember, we're learning from each other here. Anyone would like to add any more details about having a positive attitude or a negative attitude and how it affects our awareness? Okay, I'll move on to the next slide. This is a very popular slide. I just wanted to look at it. It is used in motivational quotes. It is used as a tool to encourage and motivate persons. It's very popular. So here we have a photograph of two persons. It's depicting two persons behind bars. So, and if you notice, both of them have an outside view. They're lucky and fortunate enough to have an outside view. But one of them, you know, because of his attitude, he is not in that awareness where he could see beauty from that standpoint. He's not in that awareness. So if you notice, he's looking at his inmate there in awe because all he sees the bars. But his inmate, he sees beyond the bars. He sees the beauty outside. To be in a situation like that and still see beauty and still be able to express on a canvas this outside beauty means that internally you have to have that within you to be able to put it out there on a canvas. You know, it's just a picture, it's just a demonstration, but it says so much. And we could apply this in our life where we can transform a negative situation into something positive. So the question I have, what can a person learn in a situation like that? They're behind bars. What can they learn? Is there any benefit to be had being locked up and just looking through a window? Anyone would like to share? What are some of the things we could learn in a situation like that?
Om Shanti,
Om Shanti, good evening.
and Sister Kamala, right? It's an opportunity to bring out whatever skills, whatever talent you have, even behind bars.
That is so true. You have a lot of time on your hands. So instead of sitting there and being in self-pity, you can become creative within that environment. It doesn't have to be just painting alone. It can be a motivation to others. It can help to transform someone's life in a positive way, even there, even within that confined space. Because I can tell you this, based on what is happening in the world, a lot of persons would wish they're in this space because you have a roof over your head, you have your meals, breakfast, you have lunch and dinner, you're fed, you have a chance to bathe, and you even have a chance for recreation. They have certain parts of the world, as you can see what is going on. You can't even go outside. Or you're not even safe inside because there's a war going on. And every movement, every step you take could end your life. A missile, a bomb could just come and destroy a whole family. So many persons at once. There are persons who are living in real poverty in different parts of the world. We don't see it. We don't see it, you know, but for those of you from time to time might get a glimpse to see some world news you would see. So yes, they're behind bars, but they have, the only thing they don't have is freedom. And is that so? Is that so? Because freedom is all about how you think. Because you could be out and about, you could have the best job, the biggest home, fancy amenities, a lot of luxury, but you're still imprisoned because of the way you think. You're still confined. So, Sister Yulin has shared. Anyone would like to give more examples as to what you could learn from this situation?
The one that's painting, he looks like he has this vivid imagination. It's there. He's seeing the picture, but he's going beyond that. He has no time to waste. He said, I'm using my mind. You could see from the picture, it tells 1,000 words, that he is happy. The one at the back of him who is saying to him, where you saying that? Where are you getting that from? So the one on the right that's doing the picture is a great example of the self-awareness and what he is seeing. And I like how they put the shades on him too. So he's really using
Even
up
with the
his
shades
time.
that
Yes.
has that positivity and that vivid imagination. He still has a purpose and know what he wants, even with the dark shades on.
Maybe you
You
could
want
be at a function, could be at a great wedding, a great big party, and still they have some people miserable, like the guy in the back there, but you're having a good time. And you, as you said in the other information that you give, the self-awareness, what is it that we feel inside? And that is very important.
Yes. You have plenty time to self-check. Self-check where I went wrong, that I'm here, and how I can change, and self-check, see the different qualities that I have in me. I'm able to bring it out. So I wouldn't be in this situation again.
Yes, Cecilia, that's it. Because you're gonna feel more confined in there.
Yes.
And his slate is blank. He's not doing anything. The one in the
See,
back is
CB, he becomes more miserable.
Yes. And he wants to know how
How to
he
get out.
how this possible. You see the
Yes.
shop, all he sees the bars. He's limited in his perception.
That's the word, the limit. And many of us walk around with that limitation, not worrying about ourselves. It's not that you're selfish. It's just
Yeah.
that you want to perceive and you want to know that whatever you're going about doing is going to be in a positive way and beneficial or benefit or give benefit to the other person or people around you. Om Shanti.
There's a common saying in Guyana, you know, you live according to your mind. Now I'm seeing all of this what Sister Sherry is putting on the screen, it makes me think that has such a big meaning and we just take it ordinary all our life we would hear. Now think about it, how much we can gain from that statement.
The picture, that.
So we have similar situation like that playing out, not just in the prison, in the workplace, in our home, even in religious organization where persons don't see the big picture. And sometimes you might be within a work environment and you might see a colleague who is always happy, always going about their business, doing what they have to do. They never portray anything that shows that, okay, I can't make it anymore, I'm going to give up, and so on. And in my situation, I noticed that those are the persons who always make themselves available. They're working extra hard, but they always make themselves available to assist and help. Sometimes they have families to look after, they have children, but yet for all, they're able to do it. And persons with less responsibility, they're not able to do it. They burn out very quickly and easily. So we have similar situations, similar scenario playing out in different environments. And yeah, they say a picture tells 1,000 words. So whilst one person is in this awareness of positivity, we have another person is dwelling in this awareness of negativity. They don't see anything good coming out of that situation. So the saying is positive attitude, peaceful awareness. So if you have a positive attitude, then you have a peaceful awareness. If you have a negative attitude, your awareness will be conflicted and distorted. So always be positive. It takes less energy. I could tell you that. It takes less energy to be positive than to be negative, because when we start, we could go down a road. We could go down a winding road of all kind of difficulties that didn't even occur as yet. And sometimes we say it in the way we speak and how we perceive things, you know? There's this saying about the glass half empty or half full. How do we see the glass? Do we see the glass half empty or half full? So that, it ties in here with it. We're looking at positive awareness. What I repeatedly think becomes my internal world, which then reflects in my external experience. So what you have inside of you, it reflects back to you on the way how you experience the world. So let's be positive. Let's share positivity. I am not always positive, as I tell you this. I'm not always positive. Sometimes the negativity comes in, but I'm in that awareness that when it comes, I recognize it and I counteract it because I'm in that awareness now. And when I'm saying things that I shouldn't be saying, I block it out. I remove it immediately. I don't attach emotion state, especially negative things, negative statements, and so on. I always replace it with something positive now. And this is not me all the time. It's years of experience, spiritual teachings, and learning from Raj Yoga, you know? It has really transformed me, and I can't help but emphasizing this. It really transformed me to be a better person. So while one man focuses on the bars, he continues to live in a mental prison because he's focusing on the bars. That's what he put on the canvas. The other man, he is seeing beauty, and his inner world will be more free because he's seeing that beauty that is there. And remember, it's not really external. If you want to change a situation, you can look outside. Don't expect other person to change. You have to change to suit. You have to do the inner work, right? So anyone else would like to add to this? So I'll go to the next slide.
Om Shanti.
Hello. Good night. I just wanted to ask, so do you think that positivity or us being positive is going to be able to change, I don't know, people and their decision making outside of all of this? Like you mentioned the altercation between a guy and another one, but he endangered that guy. And many times you see something like that, we're totally out of control of the external. We have no control over what's happening. And I'm always in two minds because I'm not sure whether to say something negative or to say something positive when, say, for example, I'm driving and a minibus person puts my life in danger, but you don't say anything and you stay in this positive mind. Okay, everybody's safe, nobody was hurt, but it doesn't have any effect. It doesn't have, like another altercation that happened was a guy's just in his car driving, doing, probably following the speed limit, whatever, and then another car just woof, wipes him out. Will anything like change? Like if we remain positive and there's nothing like said or approached, like these people aren't approached, because when you approach it in a positive way, nothing is changed, or a negative way, they end up riling up bigger than you, even though they put your life in danger. So it's almost you're at this crossroads of what do you do? Like, do you remain positive and nothing happens, or do you say something back and maybe, I don't know what to do in those situations.
I understand. I was once like you, where I'm just being honest here. Before I came into this teaching, I could remember I was driving and I was going through a street. I was new to Georgetown. But, you know, I had a lot of disappointment in life. And, you know, I moved from one location in order to get healing, which then I realized afterward that moving, you could move, it doesn't matter where you go. It all starts from within. So this minibus driver, I'm driving on the street, I had the right of way, and he cut me off. I see he was about to cut me off. So I was intent that he must not cut me off. So I drive out to Blackwing. And in doing that, he couldn't pass. And I couldn't pass either because the minibus like it took over the whole street. All right, in order to end that situation, where, you know, he started using profanities, wanted to know what I'm doing because he didn't stop when he was supposed to stop. He just drive out on the street and turn. And, you know, he started to rail up and carry on. All I had to do was reverse and let him go. But I didn't. I stood my ground. And we were arguing back and forth, back and forth. And I'm telling you that this happened like 5 years or so ago. And he is not moving, so all of us on a Mexican standoff, he moving, I moving, none of us. And when I look back, I see a long queue, like 5 or 6 cars waiting, and they started blowing their horn while the two of us back and forth about who right and who wrong. Eventually, what I did, I didn't hold out. I reversed, he's back, and he drove out and went along. That could have ended badly because of a decision that I made. I know that he was going to cut me off. All I had to do was slow down and let him go. But I sped up to cut him off too. But well, look, you can't do this to me. I'm going ahead. So to answer your question, sometimes you don't have to say anything. Sometimes you just don't have to say anything. You just let it go. And by letting it go, it will cause less conflict. It wouldn't cause any harm or any altercation. Now, when I went home, I sat and I examined that situation and I was like, wow. I said, this is not me. I said, oh, you know, I couldn't believe that I took that stance. But I realized where it was coming from. I was overcoming some situation. I was hurt and so on. And that's why I'm saying that the teaching, the meditation has helped to calm me. You just have to let it go. The person who was a driver, after this person attacked him, he didn't have to go in his car and take out a knife. He had a choice. Yes, he was attacked, but the other person would have been alive today. He went back to his car, took out a knife, and he went back to attack. So we need to come up with more peaceful solution, peaceful ways of solving situations like that. You know, sometimes we don't have to say anything. Just send good wishes to the person, and it's not easy to do. Depend on your level of consciousness and where you at, what is going on in your life. And that's not big, easy to do. But after time, it doesn't matter. Your peace, your sanity is what is most important because that's how it starts. You know, that person, they came out, they attacked first. Yes, you could just come out and you could respond, but then it could ensue and get out of control. And I'm telling you, my sister, that's not something easy to do. It's not easy to walk away from certain situation because, you know, you want to prove right. I've seen arguments, simple discussion, argument, and then fights. So it takes practice and, you know, a lot of deep thinking to realize that it's not worth it. I hope that my example answer your question somewhat. I hope that you have a better understanding. And indeed, it's not easy, but as time go by, you get that grounding You'll get that strength. And once you keep working on your spirituality, it comes easily. Comes easily. So anyone would like to add to that? Anyone would like to say any additional information in terms of, reacting in certain situations? Sister Elia, would you like to make a comment on that? Okay. Anyone else? All right. Okay, so I'll go to the next slide then. How we can transform our attitude. What do we need to do? How to shift into that awareness where you choose peace, love, humility, kindness, and you walk away from situations like that. First and foremost, the practice of Raj Yoga meditation to connect to Supreme Soul, because remember, Supreme Soul is all about peace, unconditional love. And as you do the meditation, you kind of liken yourself to the Father, and you start to embody the qualities of a peaceful soul, of a kind person. It takes time for you to get into that embodiment. It's something you have to practice every day. And you will be surprised to see the transformation. And when you look back at the old you would laugh and say, oh, I couldn't believe that I was like this. Fill your mind with pure, powerful, and positive thoughts. So whenever negative thoughts come up, just replace it. Instead of a driver cut you off, I've heard persons say it, go down and get crashed and dead or something like that. I've heard that. Go down and crash. Don't worry, you. Things like that I've heard. What sense it make? So let the person go down peacefully, because you know why they're hurrying, why they want to go where they're going. You know what is going on within them mentally. They are not as strong as you spiritually. You, the stronger one, you, the more enlightened one, have to be the one to let go, right? So fill your mind with positive and pure thoughts. Choose elevated thoughts and expand your awareness. Repeat positive affirmations such as, I am a peaceful soul. So there are things that you have to do daily. It's just like when you get up in the morning, you brush your teeth, your bed. Every day, as human beings, we freshen up. Every day we do that. It becomes routine. Likewise with the meditation, it has to be a daily practice. You have to do it every day. And you can't stop. Or else you will lose that sustenance. I could tell you that. You just have to connect in with soul so you could embody the qualities, because God is love, always love. We've done so many things, but God, don't be angry at us. I don't know why persons would say God vexed and he send this and that. I don't believe in that. Everybody have their own belief, but I don't believe in that. So God is always love. So I have a quick exercise for us to do. It says here, what one attitude is limiting your awareness, right? This is something for you to ponder on in your own time. We all have it. We all have something within us that we need to work on. And as I talk about my journey, I'm still learning. I'm still getting to know so many things about myself, about coping mechanism and so on. So this question is not for you to answer me, but it's for you to reflect on. What one attitude is limiting your awareness? What is stopping you from really, truly, meaningfully be the soul person that you are? Peace, love, kindness, as I said before. So a friend did not return your call. Now we have a scenario. Just think about it. You call this friend, you keep calling. The friend did not return your call. Can you give me a positive response to this situation and a negative response? Let us get a positive attitude coming out of this and a negative attitude coming out of this. What is one of the positive attitude that will come out of this situation? You call a friend and the friend did not return your call.
It's not just simple for you to call them again. Try
Okay.
again.
So one positiveness, you wait and you call again. Anyone else? We're looking at the positive attitude, the positive response to this.
Where is the love? The love.
Yes.
Maybe her phone is down. It must be not working.
Good. So you could think that her phone is not working. What else we can think of?
She's busy
Course,
and she will call back after.
Yeah, she's busy and
she's
will
not,
return your call later, but not right now.
yeah, she's not around. She's not around.
She's not around. She's not available.
Mhm.
What are some of the positive response to that scenario? Anyone else? Okay, well, let's have the negative now. The friend, you call the friend did not return the call. What are some of the negative attitude you could have? What negative awareness response you could have to that?
My friend's upset with me, and that's why she's not returning my call.
She is
Upset
upset.
with me. I just assume that she's upset. So that's
Exactly.
why I responded.
So you could take that position. Okay, she's upset with me. She's not returning my call. You can have more.
Avoid her for a few days.
Pardon me?
I will avoid her for a few days.
Okay.
Avoid. I will not.
So you're annoyed and you avoid her. Okay, she didn't return call. Okay, no problem. I won't be calling you back in a hurry. So that's a negative response. Any other?
He doesn't want to
Maybe
talk to
she's-
me.
She doesn't want to talk to me. Somebody was saying something.
Maybe she's ill or not feeling well.
She's ill or not feeling well could be a positive response because you have that consideration. Okay, man, maybe she's not feeling well. That's why she didn't return my call. That's good. That part
Okay.
that is good.
No, the part
But
about
the part-
her being ill is not good. It's not positive.
In terms of how you think, what I'm asking is like, in terms of your awareness, your
Okay, okay.
not,
I joined late, so maybe I'm missing out on.
yeah. So that aspect would be something good because, okay, you could say, okay, man, maybe something is wrong. And so you're not thinking negative about her. You're putting yourself in this situation where you're saying, okay, she's not available for these various reasons. But based on how you think, based on your awareness response, it could be negative or it could be positive. So you could say, okay, she ignoring me. She doesn't care. I call her, she didn't respond. And you find a lot of relationships, I must say, very toxic like that. Relationship where persons call, husband call wife, wife in answer is a problem. Wife call husband, husband in answer is a big C. They call you and answer me. You see how we could get into subtle argument? So that is just a scenario, and we could apply it in our daily life. Something, for example, you're at work, both you and your colleague apply for the same position. your colleague got a promotion, but you didn't get it. How would you respond to that? You know, said, oh, she didn't deserve it. I worked more hard. And she must be paid, maybe give some bribe. Well, what would you say? There's so many negative things that could come out of that, but also positive as well. Because you could wish that co-worker all the best, genuinely from the heart. And said, oh man, I'm glad and happy for her. My turn will come. Will you take it like that? Especially if you feel that you should have been the one to get this promotion or get this raise of pay or whatever it is. So these are just some scenarios that we can learn from and apply in our everyday life. Take the positive, take the higher elevated awareness, attitude, just go higher. So somebody has to do it. Somebody has to. Somebody has to walk away. Walking away from certain situation, thinking certain way doesn't mean defeat or weakness. Also, so there is a response, the positive attitude. Maybe they were busy. I'll give them some time and call later. Let me send good wishes. Or we could respond, they're ignoring me, they don't care about me, I'm upset. And as Sister Yulin say, I don't call for a couple of days. So this is my final slide. And I have a quote. When your attitude is right, everything becomes right as well and bright. You have to get that attitude. Just let it go. And you will be this smiley. Look at the others. Notice? They're all gloom and doom. But you're this one shining emoji, this one shining, smiling, bright star among the others. You're not affected. Stay bright. So with the right attitude, you can stay bright. Even in difficult situations, yes, it's going to shake you a bit. I'm not saying it wouldn't, but then you will bounce back easily from it. So that is my presentation. Om Shanti, everyone. Is there anyone who would like to share anything? Or say anything or add to what I say? Because remember, it's a learning experience. We learn from each other. I don't know everything. I
Hi,
learn
good, good evening.
Good
Yeah.
evening.
Hi, I was thinking that the same positive attitude, because if something negative happens to you, yes, you have a choice to either be negative, do nothing, or be positive, right? So you have a choice, right? But basically say negative or positive. But if you do something positive, for say example, I know somebody mentioned like, you know, you could continue being negative or do nothing, but no, but if you do something positive, like if you give somebody a bad drive and they get upset, but if you smile and say, I apologize, you know, I wasn't aware, you know, they would come up to your level and smile also, you know, and then if you have a positive internal outlook to everyone, like how this smiling emoji here, everybody
Yeah.
could see it. Everybody would see that light in you, you know, and then after, like, if you're positive, you would reach that positive in that negative person, you know, because I mean, I did the Brahma Kumari course before. I know everybody has like is good internally. They have that point of light in them. So it's just to reach that point and connect to your point, connect to their point, and there is a point in them, and it's just to reach that point by being positive, and then they will reach to your level.
Thank you very much, brother. That's the whole idea. Thank you very much.
Thanks so much.
Anyone else you'd like to share?
Good night. Very good presentation.
Yeah. Normally, we will say you have to change your behavior.
I have to change it.
Yes. Starts with us. And we
I-
can be pioneers for change, positive change,
Mhm.
and helping others along the way. If they had known better, they won't behave like that, you see?
It's true. I have to change me first.
Yeah.
For myself. Time to close 7:28. Okay.
And so we'll just, I don't have any meditation music, but we'll just pause for a minute. Then remember to get any music in the background. Just a minute of silence to reflect, digest what, about the discussion. Om Shanti.
Om Shanti. Our heartfelt gratitude to our beloved sister for her inspiring and enlightening presentation on this topic. Your attitude determines your awareness. Your years of experience as both an educator and a dedicated Raj Yoga student were truly evident in the clarity, depth, and warmth with which you shared your insights. You remind us that our inner attitude is the lens through which we experience life. And by consciously choosing a positive and elevated mindset, we can transform our awareness and deepen our connection with ourselves and others. Thank you for reminding us that change begins within and for encouraging us to cultivate awareness with love, understanding, and self responsibility. We are truly grateful for your presence and contribution. We look forward to welcoming you again in the future. Also, thanks to each and everyone. It was a really meaningful engagement. Thank you. With my take-in is that your attitude is like the soil, and awareness is like the flower that grows from it. A healthy, elevated attitude nurtures deeper awareness.
Yeah,
Thank you, thank you, thank you,
Thank
one
that
and
you.
makes
all.
me happy.
Wow, Om Shanti.